the day the sky burned. The first sign wasn't the explosions, it was the silence. At 10:43 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, every satellite above Earth blinked out. Global GPS failed. Communications blacked out. Airliners vanished from radar. Then came the sky fire. Massive dark shapes broke through the clouds over major cities. New York, Beijing, Paris, Lagos, Sao Paulo. At first, people thought it was a natural disaster or some secret military test. But when beams of searing light cut through skyscrapers like they were paper, everyone knew. Earth was under attack. Captain Elena Ramirez watched from a crumbling rooftop in Madrid, radio in hand, eyes wide. The alien ships hovered silently, triangular and impossibly large, each one the size of a mountain. Below them, fire and chaos. The Zorvarn had arrived. "Command is down," someone shouted from the stairwell behind her. "Madrid HQ is gone. We're on our own." Elena clenched her jaw. "Then we make our own command. Get the civilians underground. Prioritize medics and comms engineers." She didn't wait for a response. She was already moving. Half a world away, deep in the ruins of Tokyo, physicist Dr. Nathan Kwan ducked under collapsed concrete, dragging a bleeding lab technician with him. The alien drone, spiked, spherical, hovering, scanned the street like a predator. It was hunting survivors. Kwan reached the shattered frame of a wrecked van, pulling his colleague behind it. His heart thundered in his chest. "What are they?" the technician whispered. Kwan glanced at the twisted remains of the drone they had taken down 2 hours earlier. Its internal systems pulsed with strange light and foreign code. "I don't know, but I'm going to find out how to kill them." Within 24 hours, global governments collapsed. The United Nations ceased to exist. Nuclear strikes on alien vessels failed, either intercepted mid-air or absorbed by impenetrable shields. Nothing worked. The Zorvarn sent a single message, repeated in all languages. "You are now subjects of the Dominion. Cease resistance. Assimilation begins." But Earth didn't surrender. From the Arctic to the Amazon, scattered resistance cells formed. Old enemies fought side by side. Former soldiers, hackers, firefighters, engineers, and even farmers took up arms. Humanity wasn't ready, but they were angry. Elena's team struck back first. Using shoulder-launched missiles and homemade EMP traps, they ambushed a Zorvarn patrol convoy in northern Spain. It was bloody, reckless, and it worked. One alien, armored in shimmering black metal, was taken alive. As it writhed in its containment field, snarling in a language of electric pulses and vibrations, Elena leaned in and spoke clearly. "You came to conquer Earth," she said coldly, "but we're not done yet." She turned to her comms officer. "Get this thing to Kwan. Maybe he can crack it." The sky was still burning. But now, Earth had a prisoner, and the war for humanity's survival had just begun. From ashes, fire. The alien blinked, if the flicker of violet light across its visor could be called blinking. It was restrained in a magnetic stasis field deep beneath the remains of the Kyoto Institute, now converted into an underground research bunker. Thick steel doors sealed the lab. Dr. Nathan Kwan stood just outside the field, notebook in one hand, his other holding a neural interface probe. "I hope you don't speak English," he muttered, "because what I'm about to do would probably violate a dozen interstellar treaties." The Zorvarn twitched. For 2 days, Kwan's team had been studying the creature's suit. It wasn't armor. It was a living shell, bonded to the wearer through neural pathways. It pulsed when touched. It learned. And now, so would humanity. With a deep breath, Kwan inserted the probe into the neural socket on the creature's collar. The lights dimmed. The room filled with a low, almost mechanical hum. Data flooded in, images, maps, command structures, galactic star charts, and one word that appeared again and again in the creature's thoughts: order. The Zorvarn Empire wasn't just conquering Earth. It had been doing this for millennia. Hundreds of worlds, billions enslaved. Its strength wasn't just technology, it was its network. Every ship, drone, and soldier was linked to a single, vast AI collective. It made them coordinated, efficient, and vulnerable. Kwan looked up from a terminal. Their biggest strength is their AI command net. If we cut it, they're blind. Thousands of kilometers away, Elena Ramirez stared at the holoscreen with a mix of horror and opportunity. So, you're telling me if we jam their neural links, they can't fight? Not just jam, Quan replied via secure relay. Disrupt. Reprogram. Hijack. Elena grinned. Then we stop surviving. We start hunting. Her resistance group, now joined by remnants of NATO and several rogue Chinese and Indian special ops units, began targeting Zorvarn relay beacons hidden across Europe. EMP charges, pulse viruses, and sabotage missions crippled local control nodes. One by one, alien drones powered down mid-flight. Troop transports crashed into mountains. Without their hive-like coordination, the Zorvarn became slow, sluggish, beatable. Meanwhile, human engineers, mechanics, and scientists worked feverishly to reverse engineer the alien wreckage. Within weeks, they had their first prototype, a hybrid gunship, Earth-built but powered by Zorvarn plasma cores. Its name was etched in crude white paint on its side, Vengeance 1. In orbit above the ruins of Shanghai, Elena stood aboard the retrofitted ship, staring out the viewing port at Earth below. We're building more, Quan said over the comm, and we've cracked their hyperspace system. We can reach them now. Their galaxy? Elena asked. Quan's voice was hard. Their empire. For the first time since the sky had burned, Elena allowed herself to smile. They wanted Earth to surrender, she said quietly. Now we're taking the fight to them. As the Vengeance One's engines roared to life, humanity crossed a line. No longer prey. No longer cornered. Now they were coming. War beyond the stars. The jump into Zorvarn space was nothing like the movies. No flashing lights. No tunnel of stars. Just a moment of absolute stillness, like the universe holding its breath. And then suddenly, Sigma Centauri Prime loomed ahead. Admiral Suresh Patel stood on the bridge of the Vengeance One, surrounded by jury-rigged alien consoles and human-made steel plating. Around him, Earth's first space fleet, a ragtag force of 20 hybrid warships, slid out of hyperspace like ghosts from storm. We're here, Patel said softly. All ships, prepare for assault run. Sigma Centauri Prime was a Zorvarn logistics hub, fortified, shielded, supposedly impenetrable. But Quan's data had revealed something crucial. The planet's defense grid relied on a central AI relay buried beneath its equatorial fortress. Kill the node, and the planetary network would crash. Commander Elena Ramirez led the drop team. She stood inside her drop pod, armored in advanced reactive plating salvaged from Zorvarn corpses, human helmet etched with a single phrase, never again. As the countdown ticked, she looked at her squad, former Marines, resistance fighters, even a teenage hacker from Berlin, and nodded. Let's show them what Earth remembers. The pods launched, screaming through atmosphere like meteorites. Anti-air fire lit the skies. One pod burst midair. Another spiraled away into the mountains. But Elena's slammed into the fortress courtyard with brutal precision. Her team hit the ground running, plasma rifles blazing. Zorvarn defenders, tall, insectoid, armored, moved with robotic grace, but now they hesitated. Their command links flickered. Jammers scrambled their directives. Human chaos overwhelmed their logic. Elena led the charge through the blast doors. They fought room to room, step by bloody step, until she reached the relay core, a pulsing column of light surrounded by tangled wires and whispering machines. Plant the splice bomb, she ordered. The device, built by Quan's team, fused human code into alien circuitry, a virus not just to disable, but to corrupt. The moment it detonated, the entire base shuddered. Outside, Zorvarn war machine spasmed, fell, and lay still. Above, in orbit, the defense grid shut down. Admiral Patel gave the order. Fire. Earth's fleet descended with fire and fury. Railguns, plasma torpedoes, and kinetic rods pounded the surface. In 10 minutes, Sigma Centauri Prime was no longer a fortress. It was a smoking crater. Back on Earth, screens lit up as liberated alien broadcasts flooded in from nearby star systems. Word of the human victory spread like wildfire. For the first time in generations, conquered species saw hope. For the first time, the Zorvar knew fear. In a dark chamber on the edge of the galaxy, the Zorvaran High Council gathered in haste. Data feeds showed Earth ships carving through their border systems, relay by relay. They were primitives, one hissed. They are primitives, another whispered, staring at the smoking ruins of Sigma Prime. But they fight like gods. Back on the bridge, Elena looked out at the stars. This isn't revenge, she said quietly. This is justice. And they were far from finished. Humanity ascendant. The Zorvaran homeworld, Zoralkin, hung in space like a black jewel, wreathed in defense stations, shipyards, and rings of planetary shields. For 10,000 years, no enemy fleet had ever reached this far. Until now, the human fleet, now swollen with liberated alien vessels and defected Zorvaran ships, approached from all sides. 1,000 ships flew under the unified banner of Earth. Their hulls bore scars of battle, names written in dozens of languages. Freedom's Edge, Kolkata Rising, New Lagos, Tokugawa Flame. The Armada of the Defiant. On the bridge of the dreadnought Helios, Admiral Patel gave the order. Begin final approach. No mercy for tyrants. The Zorvaran responded with everything they had, planetary cannons, war clouds of drones, massive void cruisers, but the tide had long since turned. Their AI network was shattered. Their tactics, once flawless, were predictable. Their fear, once a weapon, now weakened them. Elena Ramirez led the final assault. She stood at the tip of a boarding spear, crash-landing directly into the Zorvaran High Council citadel. Her team fought room by room, blood and steel against synthetic armor and brittle authority. The council chamber was a towering cathedral of crystal and light, its rulers tall, robed, and trembling. You cannot rule the stars through chaos, one of them spat. We didn't bring chaos, Elena replied coldly. We brought justice. Outside, human forces flooded the planet. Zoralkin's shield fell. Massive banners of Earth and her allies were raised over government towers. The homeworld was taken. The war was over. Weeks later, a gathering unlike any the galaxy had seen assembled in what was once the Zorvaran Senate Hall. Representatives of over 100 worlds, freed from oppression, sat under one roof. And at its center stood Elena, Admiral Patel, and Dr. Nathan Kwan. This is not the beginning of a new empire, Patel announced. This is the birth of a new order, one where no species rules by force. Kwan unveiled Project Helios, a galaxy-wide human-alien communication and governance network designed to prevent centralized tyranny. Not built on domination, but on mutual defense and open access to knowledge. For every star the Zorvaran once claimed, a new system of equal voices would now shine. And Earth? Earth would no longer be a backwater world under siege. It would be the heart of the galaxy. On the balcony of the High Citadel, Elena stood alone, watching a fleet of human and alien vessels rise toward the stars. A young alien child, a former slave from the planet Jern, approached her. Is it true? He asked. You were conquered once? Elena looked down, then up at the endless sky. They came to conquer us, she said softly. They burned our cities, killed our people, thought we'd break. She turned to him with a smile that held the fire of a billion stars. But we're human. We don't break. We rise. And as Earth's flag unfurled over Zoralkin, the galaxy finally learned what it meant to face humanity.